This is Colin Digits. I'm here with the Digits Club, a weekly AMA. We got a bunch of people, but obviously our guest of honor, Mirko from Unix Gaming CEO. Welcome. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And we already talked many times before, so it's cool to meet you, your community. It's definitely a longer partnership, and that's what we're looking for in Unix.
Awesome. Today I have many questions for you on Unix and basically your vision, right? Because as you mentioned, I did speak with a lot of Unix people over the last couple of weeks, all the amazing people you have on your team. But your vision is really something else, right? That's where it all begins. And you have tons of ideas. So what I suggest we do today is just explore Unix, because what I felt like when I looked at Unix myself was that we see what Unix has right now on the service, but there's so much more, right? So much more with the brand and everything that's going on. And I think my community would love to know about all these different things, right? From an investment point of view, to the gaming guild, to the Launchpad, to your vision in general. So anybody along our chat today with Mirko, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. And as we go on, I'll pick them up. Is the quality good on the audio?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, I thought it was a little laggy. Yeah. All good.
Roman,
Mirko,
like
let's start with Unix as it is right now from the last, I think, 6 months, right? How has that journey been for you?
Pretty intense, I would say. I mean, to consume crypto is one thing. You can take a break if you want. Once you once it's rolling your life, it's a totally different ballgame. It's intense, but it's, I think the learning what I had personally, but also I think the whole team is amazing. And I wouldn't say I can already be a good advisor, for example, but definitely the learning. And this is something also we're looking for in the future, all the mistakes we made on the way, to basically or tell people like about it, and give them basically a review. Yeah. So 6 months, I mean, we started in June with Unix, and by that time we already compared ourselves before Yield Guild had their successful token launch already before. So we in contact with guilds actually since December. Also with Yield Guild, with some of the core team. And then we saw their white paper and for me to create a DAO is one thing. It's really a nice idea, but we didn't saw that it's enough to be, let's say, long-term sustainable, because a token needs utility. And basically, for example, I always take merit cycle as Yield Guild as an example. Yes, they have. It's more like an investment token. Yeah. So there is not really like, I don't know, anything supports this token from other sources. And we have some background, with Launchpads, from smaller projects and marketplaces and so on. And so basically we talked with our team we have and advisors and tech partners, what we can possibly build. So we basically, our roadmap is, I wouldn't say huge, but is achievable, and that's the goal. I mean, we don't want to overpromise. And I think what we didn't manage to showcase it properly, what we all do, as we already, in one call with you, we find out that there's many, many more behind the scenes. And creating Unix was a no-brainer for me. I mean, having a gaming background, crypto knowledge. I mean, not as a company, but therefore you get also right people, the right contacts, people supporting you. That's why you have advisor on board and supporter basically. So 6 months been interesting.
Quite a journey. I think it started on Copper launch. Right, basically the launch of Unix. Now you have the guild, which is huge. It's like the 5,000 scholars, right? So far, that milestone was checked off. You got the Launchpad coming up. Because when you say it's like a long-term roadmap, is definitely ambitious, right? I told you before about all the milestones coming up, which would be huge if you execute them all perfectly. Of course, we'll be there to follow right along with that process. When you say you were FPS gamer, right? How do you think your relative gaming experience, maybe perhaps we could talk a little bit about that, what your background is and how it makes you better in this role for Unix?
So background from gaming, yeah, started with the internet, with get through the whole development. And I think from that side, you see as, let's say, the really early stage games. What I can see kind of now, you know, the quality of the games. So that's why it's, I think, you just remember what works back in the days for some games, you know, and then just thinking, for example, about an NFT aspect or an economy aspect into the games, what is really transferable out of the game. That's one thing. As gaming side, professional CS, also Counter-Strike player, and being a long time in guilds, you know, World of Warcraft, and yeah, playing all the titles. And I mean, at that time we already traded digital goods, digital items, you know, and we've been already participating in metaverses and economies, you know, like World of Warcraft. We talked about and about the auction house. You know, this is already something where you basically trade stuff to either, you know, it's nothing what you can transfer out. This is the only thing. So, and there was basically the fascination or the inspiration for me to go in that crypto space. Not necessarily in the beginning for me personally, in the gaming aspect. It was more the fascination about cryptocurrency, DeFi, you know, the token economies and so on. But I think, you know, having an understanding what the gamer wants, I think this is something, because, you know, having an avatar, you know, dressing your avatar, the pride you have on your characters, you know, and then now getting an additional like a plus point or in motivation when you really own that piece of content or the helmet or whatever game it is, you know. And this is something, and this feeling, you know, what you have while you're creating basically either an army, let's say an X Infinity, collecting more and more players and, you know, and characters. That's something. It's kind of, it's from a true gamer's perspective. It's I think it's a very benefit when you think about really onboarding more and more people, because you really can, I think, better identify the needs of a player. And as a guild, you know, we need to think about onboarding and then how make a smooth way to get them into crypto, because we have 80% usually from the people who they are never been in touch with crypto on the gaming side, on the player side. Yeah, of course, from the token side, we have investor with experience. So, for example, your community, and so understanding that part on community, the one who carry your ecosystem, you know, with NFTs, and we are a yield or let's say utilizing NFTs, trying to max out their potential. And then you need to have at least an understanding for the player and how to manage also larger teams than not only a raid with 40 people in World of Warcraft. You know, now it's basically a raid with 5,000 people. And it's a challenge, and it's cool. It's interesting.
Man, I love that example. I discussed it with, well, your guy Andy today on a separate call. That World of Warcraft Action House is actually the same thing I'm doing right now on OpenSea. I've been playing the last couple of weeks just to supply and demand. I used to use add-ons in World of Warcraft, like Trade Skill Master. If anybody is a nerd like me, then like automated systems to buy and sell items in this game. But just realizing it right now, I'm a big Neo Tokyo guy, just like you, Mirko. I've been buying the S2 outer identities for cheap, and then I'm just flipping them in a couple of weeks' time. But in the realization comes from me that back in the day, that was just like, oh, you know, I made 100 gold today. That's like a good job, right? But now it's like, oh, you made $1,000, you made $10,000, you made $100,000, but this money is actually usable somewhere else, where the other things are not. It's like mind blowing, and just it's just the beginning. My main interest is like, okay, our community definitely has a good understanding of the launchpads, right? So we'll go to your launchpad a little bit later. I want to know about this gaming guild, because it's quite interesting for us that we invest into crypto gaming projects, right? And you are going to offer a launchpad, which I assume will launch many games, hopefully in the future. But it's basically backed by this whole ecosystem. So we don't have experience. Well, let me speak for myself. I don't have any experience with gaming guilds. How does that actually work in terms of what are scholars? What is the business model of this gaming guild? Could you perhaps elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so the goal is, or the thing is, like, the games now have, you know, you need to have kind of an entry level, right? So let's say some games are free to play. Yeah, of course, there you don't need a guild for it. But let's say, give the best example, the most of our scholarships are from Axie Infinity. And when we started, the entry level was for a good team of 3 Axies was around $1,800. So which scholar can afford that? Nobody, you know, no player can, like, from developing countries. So, and it developed in that way because, like, a Westerner is like, yeah, it's like, if I make $100 with gaming, I'm not sure. But for let's say, for people from developing country, what is the most of our players, for them, it's by that time, even it was like salaries up to, or monthly, $800 after a 50-50 split. And yes, prices changed, but we looked for it, you know, or, you know, or calculated it in. So always the goal is, of course, the ROI. So what we do, we buy assets and giving it to our players. So just for on that note, so the 5,000 scholars at the moment, they have all one scholarship account in Axie Infinity. Plus we have, so we at the moment we basically have a tier system. So let's say you're performing well and so on, and then you can get another account, not Axie, like let's say Pegaxie or Starsharks, or so, and they basically upgrade their games and their returns. And yeah, any assets what we can utilize, and we can utilize it with players, because this is kind of the goal from the games. And if you have a large community and the game comes, so we have hundreds of games, you know, they're coming here, 100 free NFTs, play them with your community. Okay. Right. Yeah. Or with the Launchpad. And why, and just, and I know we can talk about the Launchpad later on more in detail, but every game need a community. You know, it was always out there. Like when you bring out a new game, you need to do a lot of marketing. You need to find players who buy your game and so on. And here is the same thing, and the barrier is still very high for crypto games. You know, a lot of people think like still fake NFTs, JPEGs, scam. You know, like scam. You know, my friends in Germany, they're talking Bitcoin. This is darknet. And I said, man, it's like I don't know where you live, but you know, it's like anyway. And no, but yeah, we maximizing basically returns through NFTs and any kind of NFTs. I mean, we're not focusing only on game NFTs. This can be blue chips. You know, I have, for example, Nifty League. We bought a bunch of the Degans, you know, people playing that, you know, and this is also a next chapter where we want to attack, basically getting more of the collector NFTs on our side, you know, because you, or let's say you're holding, let's say the creeps, yeah, you have, and you can play the play to earn game once it's ready. You don't have the time, or the collector usually don't play. There's maybe a few, and there is where we come into play, basically, you know. So we provide basically players. Yeah,
that was going to be my question, because I think I spoke to the community, I think 2 weeks ago, about gaming guilds, or at least that I wanted to explore the idea of gaming guilds. Because in my thoughts, the ideal scenario would be, well, let's take Digits Club, for example. Yeah, you know, big community.
Yeah.
For a game, we could buy, let's say, 2,000 NFTs, but how are we ever going to find people to lend them to a secure way, right? Because you also don't want to send people your NFT. There has to be some middleman partner. Is that something that Unix would ever consider? Because from what I understand, that's what you're doing right now in-house. Is there ever going to be a system that would allow us as investors to buy NFTs with you or separately, and you guys just do the scholar part, and perhaps it's like 50, 25, 25, something like this?
We had that in the beginning. Actually, this is how we started. We had investors, they buy assets and we monetizing them. And we had a split on that, but we had to separate that because of legal stuff. You know, we didn't want to mix it up with our token company in Switzerland. So, and that's where we started. We stopped it. We give it to a partner here in Bali. I gave it to someone. It was quite big. Yeah, it was, I think we had like, I would say assets worth of over 500,000, but we needed to transition that. So we bought some off, we give him some, and basically put them in our ecosystem as a pure Unix asset. But for the future, yes, and that's why we're building also the Launchpad, for example, with the legendary tier, or also with the epic tier, and we hope definitely that, but because, you know, what is community? What is why, for example, now all these gentlemen and ladies are joining your community or this AMA is because you add value, or together you add value, you know, and this is something what keeps communities growing, because people have something benefit. Is it information? Is it knowledge? Is it you know, investment, or so on? And that's what we do basically then. And of course, we can we as partner, we do that in our legendary group, and we can do something, you know, as a partnership, of course, either buying larger amount of, you know, assets, NFTs, land. For example, if you have Sandbox Land, we have a game studio what they build on your land. You can earn then on the development, and then you can do NFT drops on your land. You can then, you know, so there's so many ways to utilize all these assets. And that's the one thing what we offer basically in our legendary group, but also we have so many allocations where we don't know, and we talked about this already, Colin, where to put, like, I mean, let's say Planet Mojo, a game backed by Pantera, 3-4 tier 1 VCs, and Merit Cycle, because they have much more raised on their IDO. They put 1 million in. We get an allocation of 800,000, but I cannot accommodate. I mean, I can do that once, but there's so many opportunities, you know. So that's why we go in our, so we call it basically the Launchpad is the final round, and in our legendary group we do the first round. So first time basically, or also what you do with your community, like letting people participating in these early rounds. And then that's we have 2 entities now. We created another one for that. So we have our token and we have another entity. So we do that definitely basically through another entity. So it's legal. So basically you're investing in Unix, and then Unix is basically buying the assets, and we make either for token a soft agreement on that. And it's like a normal exchange basically. And what we do as Unix, we anyway have the first contact with the games. So, and you know, so using our, or leveraging our position as a gaming guild, is, I think, just financially, but also for the community and building up a stronger core is a perfect match. Yeah.
Crazy. And this is what I love, because you can already see that the gaming guild from a utility perspective is quite simple, right? Buy NFTs, give them to the scholars, the idea at least, and not the system perhaps, but then all the opportunities that come around it, like games approaching you for allocation, the whole brand, and how it's being built out. I think a lot of people underestimate the power the guilds will play in, let's say, the foreseeable future. one thing that perhaps is interesting to address is the concept of play to earn, which is now being adjusted to play and earn. I think on our first call, we spoke about this. Last week, the developers from Axie Infinity announced that the slogan will change on the website from play to earn to play and earn. What do you reckon in the time going forward, how that will impact everything?
No, I think play and earn is the right terminology for that, because play to earn basically tells you need to play to make money, you know, and then this is something what you, it should be still fun, you know, you should participate like us that time in World of Warcraft and having fun, and with your daily activities, you earn something, you know, and it should not be, like the focus should not be on earn, you know, like it's like, oh yeah, you need to play and then you earn, and it should be like more in yeah, I think it's a better word, and I think it will change in the next months about play and earn. I still use it for keywords, you know, too, because it's better reach than end. But yeah, it's definitely it is play and earn actually, and a lot of people they like to say play and earn. Actually, everybody who develop games in our AMAs, we come to the same point. Yeah.
Maybe the wrong expectations otherwise, right? Because it should, yeah, like you said, it shouldn't be a job. The focus should more be like, well, the thing is, in tier 3 countries, it is a job, right? It became a job. These people playing these games full time. But yeah, when I first heard about it, like whole companies were just set up just to manage employees playing the games. That's perhaps also the wrong intention of the game, right? Because at that point, it's just more of like a cash cow, money machine. Just looking from an investment point of view, when we would invest into games and the core utility is just a money-making tool, then why don't they invest instead of playing games, right? Maybe because the capital is not there, but like two completely different things. When we go back to the gaming guild, right? I see things which I don't really understand. It's the streamers, right? And the views. How does that play together with the gaming guild?
On our so in our, because not every guild do that. Basically, we're the only guild who are focusing on streaming heavily. We have currently 21. It was 23.5, but someone at the moment, the account is blocked. I don't know for what reason. They you know, Facebook policies, you know. So 21 million following among our streamers. We have 33 streamers at the moment. And why we do that is to look also for the future, okay, and the Launchpad. Because what a game, when it comes to our Launchpad, what a game needs, it's not money. You can raise at the moment, GameFi, everybody will throw money at you left and right. It's not that. It's really looking for value add. And there is where we come. We have in our Discord community 193,000 player. We have 5,000 scholars. We have 21 million on stream. And so what we offer the game for a Launchpad is, okay, they sign up with us. Yeah, for example, Delusium today. And why they want us is because we will beta test their game and putting like a commercial break through the streamers who anyway streaming any game, just a teaser for 1 minute, and you make the game popular. We give giveaways on our streamers to new players. We give away NFTs, what is part of their marketing anyway. And it will be then combined in our ecosystem and not giving it to other streamers or other guilds. So having the full package, and streaming is ever since a dream of every gamer, you know, making money with streaming, you know, and what we do is with the streamers is basically they get all the giveaway NFTs. They get, they have 3 accounts. They have Axie, Star Sharks, and Pegaxy. So they're roughly, I think they get monthly around, yeah, I would say they get up to $1,000. Yeah, so and this is just and they exclusively sign up from us. If the following is really large, we also, you know, pay them something in addition, and we have contracts with them. So and yeah, the streaming is again like for reach and also for onboarding, because we think in the bigger picture, because now we don't look at it as a mass adoption yet. But let's say we're building our streaming pool, we're recruiting more and more people for basically low cost for us, and integrating them in our field. Let's say we build it 21 million, we build it in less than 1.5 months. Yeah. So let's look forward, end of the year, maybe I set a goal 150 million, so on following. And then imagine,
is that total or unique? Total, yeah.
That's total on following, okay, among all the streamers. Yeah. So, and imagine that range nobody can beat. And you know that with YouTube, if you have more range or more following, you will have more offers, more opportunities, and it's all comes in one. And a number of 150 million streaming on following, people will ask, really? And then we will, of course, showcase this.
Can blow live up any game.
Yeah. And the thing is, so if we recommend, you're a new game, what you need? Players. Okay, maybe you make marketing. Yeah, okay, people buying your token, people buying your NFTs. But it's also for a lot of people just an asset to hold. So they're not necessarily play right away. But if you plug in our gaming guild, streamers, scholars, then you have already maybe a population of instant 200, 300, 400, 500,000, who knows? Yeah. And that's the boost for every economy, because you need to get the economy running off an in-game ecosystem. And that's only happen if you have people utilizing your NFTs. And this is where we want to be long-term, building now and maybe spending. And again, it's low cost. Yeah, we're doing that with the free accounts. That's it. And then they're earning enough that they are happy. They're from no one, they're someone now, in their level on streamers. So we fulfill dreams on the one side. We make them loyal to us, and they supporting any game like soldiers, like true fans, And I think this is
Unix army.
Yeah, if you call it like that, then yeah.
It will stick. When we look, because that's basically when we first spoke, that's what I noticed, like the ecosystem, right? The vision, at least for the ecosystem. Now, the play to earn side, it sounds like it's up, the foundation is there, it's growing, right? One part that you already mentioned, the Launchpad, the most interesting component, I think, for everybody here today. Basically, the bridge between the gaming guild and the Launchpad is very clear for me, right? I understand it, how it all benefits each asset and the whole ecosystem as a whole, right? You mentioned one very specific thing, which I thought about later, which is the different type of launch modules you can do, like fair launch, Dutch auction. Yeah. How does that work? Or could you explain why you want to do a Launchpad and who is developing it, perhaps, or some more information about that?
Yeah. So from so Launchpads, I mean, there is so many, okay? And you can make an ordinary Launchpad, you build a Launchpad, you build a tier system, and you manage it. But it's more than that, okay? It's like, because at the end, you facing an audience of a game, of a project, yeah? And so we put more investment in tech, basically. We developed the Launchpad with Holochain and our partners with SL2. And basically, we have 11 different methods to launch a game. Yeah, so you can really look at what, first of all, the game wants, because we are the Launchpad and they have a vision for their game, right? And giving them more options is also give us more variety to offer, right? So basically we have, for example, Dutch auction, first come, first serve, balancer, tier system. And there's more on the, I cannot name now all, and there's some is really, you can configure them. And in our back end, really like depends on, we can, for example, we could like all allocations, or we make just a legendary launch. There is no other tiers. We can just configure it as we want, as what is the let's say, based on our on what type of people they want in on the game. So it's and to be flexible and giving more opportunities or more options. This is, I think, a very key point here. Yeah.
Cool. Definitely unique, right? Because we know the phase one, phase two, first come, first serve. That's basically the style that all the launch pads are following. And then you got the more unique platforms like Copper Launch, right? That follow their own. I don't even know what that model is called. It's like the graph that declines.
It's a balancer. So
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's and on that note, actually also what in around 3 weeks, I think it's fully developed, because what we have is also that we have, let's say, Unix, let's say, supported launch. So basically, games or projects we launch ourselves, but we also give the opportunity to projects just to launch like decentralized on our launchpad. So they like Copper Launch. It's decentralized. You don't talk to anybody. You put up your liquidity. You make your marketing around it. You never talk to them. And this same thing we have also with our balancer. So basically with the Copper Launch, it's the same function. And yeah.
Well, I'm curious from a business point of view, what is the Copper Launch business model? Do they charge like a percentage of tokens, or how does that work?
Yeah, in the settings, because we launch on Copper Launch, so
Yeah.
I can tell you. So in the settings, you can basically set whatever you want. Like you can set there, you want to charge 0.1 up to 5-10% per transaction, on the amount you put into the balancer. And this is something what the launchpad will earn. Yeah. So.
Oh, right. But you can't, obviously, there's a minimum, right, that they want in terms of compensation.
I didn't make it
You didn't try
zero.
to,
I didn't
yeah.
try to make it free. I am not. I'm not sure if this is working. I need to talk to the devs that we build this maybe on a minimum. No, but I mean it's really, I think, to give that option, because imagine that, yeah, as a launchpad provider, and now and we are community oriented. So if there's percentage, then we also want to either buy tokens back, so it should benefit at the end, again, the token holder. So let's think we have our, let's say, 3 or 4 projects in a month we launch as a vetted, approved Unix. By the way, community, this is Alpha. We partnered today with DaoMaker. So basically, let's say we have our 4 launches, they're from Unix, and let's say the launchpad is popular, and you have to balance the option, or where people can, let's say, decentralized, go there and just utilize your launchpad. So you get, even maybe you launch, and it's not up to us, right? And maybe you launch 4 projects planned and maybe another 10, so because people utilizing now, because of the attractive launchpad, because of premium launches, DaoMaker, acceleration, and so on. And then you have basically more and more population of the launchpad. So it's going to be always something. And these projects, they're making also marketing for the projects, right? So it's more, it's like so many factors who plugging in here. This is, we
All they
have
do
really
is
high.
use your technology. Yeah. In that case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, it's quite unique. I mean, like, I don't know if other launchpad do this. I've never heard it before. That is like versatile, right? In terms of the way things work. What would you do when you say DaoMaker? How that is like hot alpha information? I don't think anybody knows. How would that work? Because that's another like competitor, no?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say competitor, because everything in crypto is about connections and so on. It's deal flow here, left, right. So we have good connections with DaoMaker ever since, and with Hatu and Christian. And so it's Unix, or let's say to give basically much better or security that the launch will be successful. What DaoMaker is doing already longer time is accelerating your project or incubating a project. Yeah, so you completely support the project until launch, like launch, TGE, and then listing. And you make sure that all the boxes are ticked off. There's no, because you're involved. So in addition, you either get shares on advisory tokens or whatever is the deal. And DaoMaker is an expert. They're like 4 or 5 years on the market. I consider DaoMaker, Polka Starter as for example, top launchpads, for example, depends, everybody have different opinions, but they have solid projects. And DaoMaker is also GameFi org. This is also a game launchpad. They're also basically, this is also DaoMaker. So having now a network from 3 launchpads, and then let's just compare them. So DaoMaker is not only a game launchpad, it's more a general launchpad. GameFi is purely games, but they don't think about quality. And we talked with DaoMaker and on our partners in SL2. We're looking only for premium launches or accelerating them, because there is basically, first of all, we can utilizing then our ecosystem, game studio, blockchain development, marketing, going to the market strategy and all that stuff, and launching them on the launchpad and building the listing connections. All the support we also had or was needed for us to get ready, right? So, and giving that to a project who are maybe coming from gaming space, traditional gaming, never been in touch with crypto, is actually the perfect spot for us to plug in here and say, hey, guys, we give you basically all the tools you need. And then DaoMaker is super interested because as a guild, you have the very, very first contact. So you have sometimes a half year until a launch. So we already can build all the connections. We can help really intense by building up the game. And then you will see more and more that Unix Gaming, Final Round, DaoMaker, whoever's involved, there's going to be, it's not something you build overnight, because it's also, you build a brand, a name. But that's why we choose someone who is really expert in the field, incubated many projects, have not only one launchpad, they incubating games. DaoMaker have 4 different departments. So they're really, really knowledgeable. And I think for us with, let's say, consumer knowledge on launchpads and maybe from the tech side, but building the due diligence, KYC, all that stuff, whatever a project need to go through, and setting basically the standards for a successful launch. And here comes DaoMaker in. And of course, learning for us, become an expert, learning from the best, so it's very good.
Very nice. Very nice. I see more and more that basically the whole, well, we would envision it from, let's say, pre-seed to seed, strategic, private, A, B, public, but then the guild and the marketing and basically what you said, because somebody just posted it, love the quote you just said, Mirko, everything in crypto is about connections instead of competition. As long as the connections are there, every aspect adds value and everybody makes more money, from the scholars earning, the guild earning on the NFTs, the IDO investors getting their return on the tokens. It just becomes bigger and better, right? Yep. That's basically the whole, makes sense, the whole vision. Some questions I keep getting back about the Unix Launchpad. Will there be a KYC requirement?
So we have options, so because if it's decentralized, let's say the balancer, you don't need to have KYC. For example, Copper Launch don't require KYC, because everything what is decentralized is basically out of the legal, because they said smart contract is in between 2 parties. This is not, there is no decision-making process, of someone doing an investment, for example. DaoMaker, they like KYC. So again, the deal is done. The terms of how we do KYC is not yet 100% clear. Because now we have a new situation, and of course, coming with an expert and they see it as a must, then we need to find a golden middle to do that. But the decentralized launches, they don't require that. And
And perhaps would it maybe be not on all launches that in that case? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like only, okay, but it makes sense from the I know we all hate the KYC as investors, but from a company point of view, it really de-risks, takes away all the risk, right? Once the user is KYC'd, all the legal trouble is basically out of the way. So got to look at both point of views. One other thing that somebody mentioned before in the chat, but also what I think is an interesting question is, of course, Unix token on the Ethereum blockchain, right? Now you have the option to buy it on the Polygon blockchain. However, the staking is not available, right? So 2 questions. is the staking required to be able to participate in upcoming launches?
So the staking is, I mean, we want to for the launchpad to hold your token, get rewarded, because not everybody have a legendary tier. Yeah, so for in gaming language, right, we upgrade our items. So that's why we have a common, uncommon. So that's why we give staking rewards, and of course, like a waiting time, or like appreciation in value, for long-term holder, that they getting more and more tokens. You can do it either with staking or without stake. Doesn't matter. So we're tracking basically the wallets and of course the staking, like which wallet staking. So LP or single staking will be tracked, and you basically get your allocation.
Okay, perfect. So the staking is not required, because the question was basically because for the poly contract, the staking is not available. What would the bridge, right? Is there a timeline on the bridge when that's going to happen? Or be ready from Polygon bridging the tokens to Ethereum and back, whenever way people want to do it?
The bridge is there.
It's active?
Yeah. But we use the Polygon, the official one, from so no any swap, because it depends on the bridge, you need to add liquidity. And if you use the Polygon bridge, it takes longer. It's like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, but you can use the Polygon bridge. Yeah.
Okay, so the only basically thing there, because I bought on Ethereum because, money. No, I'm kidding. The Polygon side of things is, I think then the only thing is that the staking is not available there. But if somebody has that, somebody in Digits Club did ask me yesterday, what I said was just sell your Unix token on Polygon, transfer the money through SideShift to Ethereum, and then buy an Ethereum. It will cost you $20, but at least you can stake it, because I made a video yesterday on the staking rewards. I just did it to showcase, but they actually are quite significant. I didn't expect it to be that significant in terms of yield. But for anybody here today who has Unix tokens, something you might want to consider, because it's quite fruitful. When we look at the IDOs, a question on the IDOs, right? I spoke with Andy this morning about some upcoming projects, which was quite interesting. Right now, there's no confirmed date for the first launch, right? Let's say the Launchpad is up and running. When it comes down to centralized launches, do you have any idea of what you would think is a good amount of launches to do? Of course, you've got to build it up, right? The momentum, see how it goes and everything. But what would be your ideal amount?
I think so the first launch is anyway very important, and let's say since you are new, let's say disappointment would be taken very hard. So that's why we try to really line up, especially for the first games, maybe 3-4 titles what we're very sure about. I think you need to see how many buy power is on, let's say, 1 or 2, 3, 4 launches, maybe adding up, but also depends a little bit on the availability of projects, because we don't want just to squeeze out launches. So there is another thing what basically also our Launchpad offer. We only, if there's no launch, we can still make INOs, or we can launch whitelists. So there's a lot of things we can do in addition to a regular token launch. And I think it's a matter of seeing how many projects it's good, how many being sold out right away. You check your data, you check your numbers, and learning from each game. Let's say you have 3 games in 1 month, you saw the numbers of purchasing power went down, but it still was sold out, but it took a little longer, then is it good to make a 4th one end of the month? Who knows? Yeah. So observing, learning, and making good decisions, I think this is the key.
Perfect. Yeah, peers, definitely quality over quantity. I think from my own point of view, because you, Mirko, obviously you're on the Launchpad side, I'm on the other side. I'm the participant on the Launchpad. Yeah. I would definitely say lately, myself, the quality, because you don't see it in a bullish market, right? In a bullish market, all the launches go green, basically. Everything will pull in a 4x. But you do got to realize that the vesting is not 1 or 2 months. The vesting will be 12, 16, 24 months, depending on the round. And when the bearish market comes, most of these gaming projects will take such a huge hit. My favorite example, I spoke with Simon the other day about Status, right?
Yeah.
Status was basically, they presented it, well, maybe it is, but I have a different opinion on it. It's like basically presented as a AAA game, right? Potential.
Yeah.
The race was good. Everybody was excited. The dual token system that basically did really great, both of the tokens on the launch. Yet when they started doing more cash grabs while the market went down, right, with the NFT sales, for example, it just showed that the quality wasn't specifically there because the roadmap is so long, right? And investors are impatient. That's like the maturity of the market is not there yet. What do you think about races? Because I had well, it wasn't a discussion, but I spoke with Simon last night and this morning about Plutonians. Did you hear about Plutonians, right? So they raised 17 million, right? And I did a review on them. I wasn't bullish at all. I hated the project. What do you think about these big races on these projects that have yet to deliver anything? And don't ruin your reputation right now by saying the wrong thing.
No, I mean, it's like I hadn't enough time to look, for example, into them, but yeah, I think the team is most important to look at in this point, you know, and then backers, yes, I mean, this is still like the VC funds, they're throwing everywhere money, you know, when it's about play to earn, GameFi, any protocols. It's hard to say. I mean, it's definitely increased the risk there for maybe delay or maybe the people, you know, because even now in just, let's say, the hype from Breakthrough, from X Infinity and all the other games, there's so many games that also fail, you know, or there's so many people's games pushing out, and you know, everybody want to shine, you know, like, and at the, I think a very in-depth due diligence is good, and this is something also I know you do, and then also we do that in the community, and then in the future we basically will discuss projects in our legendary epic round. You know, we call it the Unix labs, basically, where we and we can decide as a community, for example, if it's like, is it worth to invest? Is the risk too high? What's the odds, you know? And I think it's like, I don't want to make a decision there myself, you know, but if let's say we decide, or the DAO decide, or the group decide, let's do it, you know, I think then we can go, and then we just sit on a call, you know, like now, for example, and then we can talk about it, you know, and then involving people in their opinion. I think this also strengthen the community, you know, before you make judgments, you know.
I love to make judgments though by myself. The thing I find interesting is because we all allowed to have our opinion, right? Even these companies raising, in my opinion, a ridiculous amount of money. The thing is, from an investment point of view, of course, like if I would be the game, I'm also going to raise as much money as possible, right? Because it just gives the security, it takes a lot of pressure off. But from the investment point of view, we want to see access, right? Because we are spoiled in this market, right? A normal stock market, we would assume like 6.8% annually, right? And if the crypto market 6.8 daily, you have a bad day, right? In that case, it's like ridiculous. But with a 17 million raise and a 2-year-long roadmap, there's a lot more pressure to perform those exits than when I see a TGE market cap of, let's say, 1.6 million or 4 million. I already know that in the current market conditions, it's not going to do well. But if I see 110K market cap, even with marketing, you just spend some money on marketing, the excess will be there on the TGE, right? It will be like, it's all manipulated. Yeah. But the value is the value on the front end for the investor is there.
My personal point on view on games is, if there's a 2 years roadmap and there's nothing coming, you see Startlers have a huge problem. You know, they brought those mini games, tokens, and Like, I wouldn't say like huge problem, but it definitely community is impatient. And we are in crypto. We are not in traditional gaming. Like, I don't know, Diablo 4 is developing for 11 years, 10 years, you know? That is not in crypto impossible. And even 1 year is in crypto impossible. So my favorite example, for example, is The Horizon. Yeah. It's a play to earn game, play and earn game. So what they do is basically they develop one game. Yeah, they had the TGE to develop one game, but they call it the D-verse. Yeah, so they're building one game, another game, another game, another game, and then later on all that becomes an MMORPG. You know, so, and I think at the moment, especially in an impatient market, market in crypto where we are at, to building and releasing on the way up. And now I'm not talking about an NFT drop. I'm not talking about the token. I'm talking about like game, you know, that it start to populating, it start people. And then I think that's the recipe, in my personal opinion, when you have a long roadmap to feed the community. Otherwise, you just for a token, then it's you either need to be very open up front and say that's a long-term hold, gentlemen, invest 2 years time, and the risk just increase. Because what if the market and the economies and the trends, they're changing in 2 years, and then you develop a game but it's outdated, you know?
Right, exactly.
So I think that's the biggest risk. Yeah.
And that's basically, well, I 100% agree. And one other problem that I see is they don't want to de-risk the situation for investors. So even if you would have a 1-2 year roadmap, look at Gonzilla, right? Coming like TGE very low and then a 1 year cliff for almost all investors. I've seen the gameplay. I was like in some private group that some gameplay was shared confidentially. It looked amazing. Right, they have an amazing team on board. I think they're Germans, no?
It's German, Kiev, and
Ukraine. Yeah, but it looked really impressive. I did participate in that one actually. When we look at the whole Citus thing, let me just bring it back. No hate to Citus whatsoever, because I am still involved there. But the thing is, when you know the roadmap is long, and then you're going to do one NFT drop after another, that's not hype when you cash grabbing money, right? The serious investors can see what you're doing. You're just adding, you're grabbing more money, but the money is not actually being spent, or the development would go faster, right? I mean, if you raise $50 million, then why are there only 20 game developers, right? I understand you need to hire, but hire a most expensive headhunting agency and throw your company full of game developers. It's more of like, oh, let me just stake these races in a liquidity pool and let me just fund everything to my own wallet. That's what it feels like for the investors.
I think what the games could do, just to you know, if they drop NFTs, you can drop NFTs in an early stage, for example, and just give it a utility, you know, like either participate like a Nifty League in a shit game. It's fun and you can earn something, but you have something to do, you know, or the utility gives you that you can enter the developer chat, or any kind of utility. So you and later on you just use the game, the NFT in game, you know. So that could be something where you at least add some value to the NFTs, and because with the NFT is sitting in your wallet, or you bring them, and this is something what, for example, Ember Sword, Sandbox, they had their land on OpenSea, so there's royalty fees, you know, where the royalty fee goes, you know, from trading. So, you know, like thinking about all these possible options, how you give utility to an NFT. And then I think, but again, like this is so many games out there, everybody have a different approach. As I told you today, Shrapnel, they have their NFT sale. Yeah, they're selling land, 150 million total raise in NFTs. Yeah, so I don't know if they sell everything. I didn't went through the whole offer, but I have
you'll see a video on my YouTube tomorrow. Shrapnel cash grab.
Yeah, I just got the sales pitch deck today, and there's 150 million for land, and then it's like, what do you do with 150 million? Yeah, I mean, I know that the NFTs, they have like the expensive one, they have like special perks and revenue shares and so on. But
Yeah, but I mean, that's special. Even if they're like 150 million, the most expensive one is probably 100,
that
250K.
there are
They
2
might be
million,
special, but
2.5 million.
not that
Yeah.
special, right?
But there's 6 NFTs, each is 2.5 million. So, but anyway, I don't know the perks. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it's ambitious. One thing you did mention, I have a good example: Star Atlas. Yeah, crazy long roadmap. I'm very bullish on the Solana gaming blockchain. What they have is they did sell a lot of these spaceships, right? But you can log in every single day, send them on a mission, and then collect the rewards the next day. It's 2 buttons you have to click every day: send, collect, send, collect. Right? This thing, my buddy showed it to me. I was
Yeah.
interested because that's like you are with the project on the tokens and you're with the project on the NFTs. But if there's nothing in the short term with these NFTs, what you often see is like a short-term depreciation in value, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
you know
because the
in the
market
long
is,
term and it's
it depends a
fair.
little bit on the market, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like there's, oh, yeah, people like, oh, my spaceship is not so nice, so better make it for cash. And then, like yeah. But Startlers, they have like, they've been a little bit oversold with these spaceships. I mean, I remember the one, I think the biggest ship is 3 million, like
yeah, it's
who,
also cash grabby. I just like the model of the whole potential hold passive income, right? This Neo Tokyo Bytes, it did crash really hard. I love that it crashed because unsustainable model without utility. It's like a real social experiment. I love that stuff. But I also see from an investment point of view that the paper hand, it's a pattern, right? And I just look at the patterns in the market.
yeah,
So I got the yesterday, I've been on it for like 3 days. The Neo Tokyo S2 outer identities, they upload the 13th, right? About 10 days from now. So I was like,
mm-hmm.
let me scout OpenSea, right? Let me have a look on what's happening. And I want the top tier, right? Because I just
Yeah,
want it. But they're all like 80 Ethereum. That's a little too crazy. So I saw one for 20 Ethereum. That's too big of a drop. Somebody wants to get rid of it. So I just offered him 12 Ethereum every single day for 3 days. And last night he accepted it, right? I'll just wait 2 months and sell it for 60 Ethereum, right? And that's
yeah,
like the paper hand pattern. It's not just to flex my skills, but although I'm a smart guy, it's more like in general, the market trend, which projects don't see that, of course, I'm with Digits Club every day. You're with Unix every day. We see what we have planned, what the roadmap is, but it's very difficult to convince somebody. That's why I love having you here, because I feel like people will have such a better understanding about what you're doing, what we're doing together, and all the opportunities, because otherwise these guys are following 20 different launchpads, right?
yeah,
If I tell them like Unix is great, then they have 30 seconds of attention why I can tell them what you're doing. But obviously I can never tell it as well because you're in it. And I also talk with other launchpads,
yeah,
right? And these games specifically, I feel like that is still something that they have to get to understand. I spoke with Andy about Cradles today. That white paper, the information is great, right, on Cradles. But come on, hire a designer for $100 to design a white paper with some cool images and
yeah,
stuff. Right now, it's a book. They delivered me a 26-page book. It was
yeah.
so boring. But the game, the prehistoric dino metaverse, it sounds really cool. But the value
Yeah,
just
and
go
also
down, perceived
the
value.
NFT protocol, what they're using.
Yeah, but the perceived value is so important. If it looks good, then already
Yeah.
the trust is there and everything.
Yeah, and there's then where the accelerator comes in, and make it then looks more beautiful, like, so this is something also like, I mean, it's like we tried also in Unix, like to get everything, but there's edges like you maybe because you're so much in the business, in your day-to-day business, that you might sometimes lose kind of. That's why like we love actually negative feedback, because there with you can work with, so even it's sometimes so petty things, where people have it, it's okay, let's react on it, why not, why leave it always there, and luckily I have a high standard for myself, or for what I want to see, especially on a branding side, and we're building at the moment on the new website. I'm pretty happy about that, and the Launchpad looks awesome. I have, I showed you last time the Figma, the mock-up. Yeah, there's definitely, I think aesthetic is also part in the gaming space, you know, a DeFi protocol. Yeah, you don't need to have the fancy colors, you know, like this is something, but for gaming space, I think it's very important, you know, like that you have nice visuals. Yeah.
What would be, because that's like Piers is one of our main holders. Like he's trying to be the biggest Digits Club holder after myself at the moment. He says as like good insights that you're filtering and refreshing to see the filter and due diligence projects by selecting the games coming to Unix. What would you say for the Launchpad are like 3 criteria that you're specifically say like these are 3 good things we love to see and 3 things that we definitely don't want to see?
That's it's really depends a little bit on the genre, you know. So I think what I personally I think the market, because of metaverse at the moment, everybody is jumping on space and you know, try to be metaverse. And I don't know, this is like, if you go back in time and you just check the top titles in the world out there, that been always dark age, mage,
Age of Empires.
monsters. Yeah, and but no, but what I mean is like it's usually like in another era of the time, you know, like it's not space always been not the
Yeah,
most
right
successful
now I
game.
see basically space or post-apocalyptic. Those are like the 2 games you see most often.
Yeah, and that's why I'm, for example, personally, and we can talk about Block Lords. This is one game we're gonna launch in our launch, but it's a medieval total war game with the, you know, it's definitely for me from the era where the game is playing in, I think one of the most exciting. But yeah, also FPS title, you know, like FPS title. If you check, you just need to check Twitch. What is the most played games? This is like a MOBA, yeah, League of Legends, Dota, or then yeah, you have Valorant, Apex Legend, Counter-Strike Go, and then of course, yeah, from time to time, like a new release, you know, what is have a lot of streaming, but you need to look on that and which games we want to have. And I think, so go back to the question of the 3 things we want to see. Of course, yeah, at least I think some solid in-game footage, you know, that we can at least expect what's coming.
Right.
And I think depends a little bit on the token economics. This is super important because a grinding game like Axie Infinity is where's an unlimited supply on the let's say the in-game token. That is risk, yeah, if there is not a good burning mechanism. So yeah, that's definitely something we look into. And if they have either, let's say, Engines of Fury, one of the games we really like is kind of a betting, you know, let's say 2 people play versus each other, and then one gives $5, one gives $5, and the winner takes 10. Perfect. You know, there is no selling pressure on the token itself. You take a fee on the let's say the $10 pot, and you can build on that. You know, so I think this is something what at the moment, yeah, I think this is the type of games we like to see because the economies are not yet so strong or not so developed. So, and I think Stadler's going back, these guys, I talked to the CEO and to the team. We had also an AMA. They're coming from traditional finance, you know, like from economics, you know, and I'm really excited about to see their ecosystem once it's populated. You know, I think it's pretty cool about that. Yeah, what we don't want to see is idle games. What reminds you on pay to win to like on you know, you always get in Google Store or Play Store, and then you have like pay to win games. It's usually like an idle game or card games. Don't no card games, please. Yeah, this is like too much. There's only one promising card game. What we also talking to for the launch, it's Buzzer. It's developed by Team Tempo, by Reynard. It's one of the best Hearthstone players. Hearthstone is a card game from Blizzard. and he is the one is legend in that game, and he is developing basically the game. That's his game, Team Tempo, a esport team, and they developing a card game. Looks like Hearthstone a little bit, of course, with different cards and so on. And they have a top backing. I think Alameda Research is lead investor there and so on, and Galaxy and more and more.
Why would so many games choose the trading card model? Because we did see a huge spike after. Is it just because it's easy to develop, or?
Easy to develop.
Yeah, so basically most of these games are cash grabs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Because I always mention, so I did Animalia is the one I did like way back. Right, I think that was like last year, September, and there still hasn't been a TGE. So I see that pattern as well, that they just keep delaying these type of games. But also the gameplay from my own point of view is quite boring. I feel like it's not something that you could play for hours. You maybe play 1 match or 2 matches a day, but a deck is still a deck of cards, right? There's not like, there's maybe an infinite amount of combinations, but I don't know if you ever looked at like the old school Heroes of Might and Magic type of game. You know, that's fun with the world map, like the real old school ones, but still every single time it's the same shit. Yeah. And a card game is even like more basic than that.
And then here it comes a little bit like, so there is a game, for example, called Bomb Crypto. Yeah. It's a pixel game, but it's popular, you know? So, and I wouldn't play it because I like, you know, a little bit more advanced, let's say graphics and gameplay, but it's like, maybe it's, and that's what I said in the beginning, like going back to 20 years when you had Diablo 1, you know, or pixel game, it was so pixelic and the gameplay was not so much of it. And I see a little bit like, you know, from entertainment, the same standard here, you know, so like from the graphics, but they're having a good ecosystem, so they don't necessarily put so much on layout, graphic design, but they're thinking a lot of an economy, you know. And Bomb Crypto have, I think, a lot of mini games. I think this is something very, very interesting, because you build basically a different experiences, you know, and then you can choose, okay, today I want this, I want that. I mean, in all of this experience, maybe you can can earn something. And I'm not saying this is maybe not for this round here, because there's something what we also look at is, let's say, yes, from the guild side, which games we want to populate, but we have both. So, and that's what I like on basically on the Unix business, because let's say, and I follow always what Warren Buffett said, you know, he said, don't invest in an asset what is have only value until you sell it, you know, because like basically you buy a big brick of gold, you sell it, and it's gone. The value, the asset is gone. But let's say invest in a house, you know, the land of the house increase in value, the house increase in value, rent is coming in, you know. So and imagine now, and I think we had long time in crypto, we had coins, we traded coins, we holding coins, we stake coins. And with the NFT, and especially with the gaming space, and let's say games like, for example, we talked about Shrapnel, they're bringing out a land what costs you 2.5 million. That gives you, I think, a lot of either.
I hope so.
Yeah. So and that's why I'm thinking like buying assets now, what gives you yield, and then maybe as an investor, from an investor side, but also from a player side. So we connect these two elements. So let's say this community is buying the assets and you want to populate it, and there we come into play. And this is the interesting thing. So we buy it for our own, or and the thing is, if I would have, let's say, another 100 million, I would know what I want to buy, because I have so many people who waiting for a slot, you know. So it's basically, there's so much demand on utilizing NFTs. I think it's, of course, you don't put all the eggs in one basket. That's why we divide slowly our, let's say, depending on which NFT is good. Giving the example Status, you know, the prices of the NFTs went down after the, I think after, or from the original price. I'm not pretty sure, I didn't follow. But, you know, it's like finding a good NFT. And again, like me alone to decide that, it's too much responsibility for me because,
Sure.
but as a community, making due diligence, a deep one, maybe even not take the first grab, maybe even before you make larger investments on NFTs, waiting maybe until there's more game development, you know, like for example, BigTime Studios, we invested 800,000 because we believe that the land sale, but we got also as a guild, I think 30% before the market sale. So yeah, was pretty good. Yeah.
Opportunities. I feel like that's what you attract when you have that big of an ecosystem. I see that more and more, the value. What do you think about other possible entities in the market replicating this model? Because one thing we didn't even discuss yet, and I know that's why I almost spent 7 hours this week on Unix calls, just this week, 7 hours. It's crazy, with like obviously all the different team members. But what about the game studio? Because I think that's like a very unique component. When I spoke first, when I reviewed Seedify, when I just started with the YouTube, I said, these guys are gonna come with a launchpad for NFTs. It's inevitable. It's one of my first videos. And now I think a month ago, they announced the airdrops of the S-Fund NFT token. So they're gonna do a launchpad for NFTs. But now I see with you guys, you actually have then the launchpad, the guild, the ecosystem, some VC connections, and now the whole gaming studio. And on the website says Unix is developing a AAA game. What does that mean?
So, I mean, we had anyway planned to, because we, you know, not new in the space, basically from traditional gaming, but also a little bit in crypto, but, you know, and so the game studio is, first of all, is to build on the metaverse, you know, because for example, Sandbox or X Infinity, Decentraland, they want people to develop on their land. So, and while we actually just wanted to produce, let's say, a game, and then we got more and more in contact with all these projects, and we saw Sandbox, and we talking with the people. Sandbox, I mean, we talked to the one who want to sell us land, and he said, yeah, we have nobody who develop, you know, like, and this land is empty. You know, Binance, if you check the whole bottom part is Binance, but nobody develop on Binance land because Binance have no game developers, you know? So, and then it was like, basically we said, okay, there's so many opportunities. We sit down with the guy from Damir, our CTO on the game studio. And then we just said, okay, let's fuse them basically. And then now we're building it with our own game studio. In addition, we have the Sandbox partnership as an ecosystem builder. We're talking to X Infinity for the builder program. Decentraland, we're building a stadium for Galaxy Interactive. Galaxy
How does
Digital.
that actually work? Because it does really interest me, but I have no clue. So I might sound very ignorant right now, but you buy Sandbox land, and then how do you actually enter?
We don't buy land. That's the thing. So Sandbox give us land, pay us that we build, and we can even.
What do you build then?
We build game experiences, mini games.
Mini games, but the user needs to log in on. How does it even work? Like, I have no clue. I would love to understand it.
The game is not live, so they had the first alpha test, and now they have the second alpha test. And you can only plug in certain areas. So even that what we develop or others develop is not playable, you know.
Okay.
So basically, it's a future project. It's still a long time. We talk about alpha, yeah. So, but the thing is, basically, they have no. So again, we get land from Sandbox, we get paid, we develop, and for our developers to use a Sandbox as like a toolbox, like a plug and play a game development tool is easy peasy to say that. Sorry. Yeah?
Okay.
So it's like part hustle. It's like side hustle, you know. It's not even requires heavy development skills because everything is there. You need to be creative how to make now the game looks like. And so what we did then is we reached out for all the landowners like Gemini, BitBoy, CoinMarketCap, and more, and be in discussion about how, because they have land, but they don't develop on it. So we want to develop on it. So basically we do that like an aside. So what they allow us in addition, Sandbox, is we can make NFT drops for the game, because you need items for the game or whatever for the piece of land, and you earn basically on the NFT sales, you know, and you have royalty fees on all the NFT drops you created. So it's like becomes like another stream of income. And the same with Decentraland, the same with X Infinity, the same with all the metaverses.
When the metaverses launch, these like core concepts, and right now you say it's like the early alpha, but let's say one day they go live, basically what they have 10,000 games or something like this.
Yeah.
In like one big world where.
Yeah. So it depends like what you build, like in Sandbox, yes, a game, or let's say a nice place, a temple, I don't know, but it needs to be something where people basically interact with. That's the whole game.
So let's say I would buy some Digits Club land. Yeah, I don't know how much that costs. We'll slap down 200 Ethereum to buy some land, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the benefit. What would we build in that case? Anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can really be very creative, and then think if you want to a theme park, or you know, you can maybe. You know, like what I always want to build is the Dark Moon from World of Warcraft. You know,
Dark
where
Moon
you
Fair.
can get the I want to build that somewhere. You know, all these mini games. You know, this is something what I want to build in Sandbox. Yeah.
My favorite one is where you go into the rocket and it shoots you, and you need to land in the water in that circle of flowers.
Yeah. So
that's
no,
crazy.
but that's why we see massive opportunities in building on metaverses. And we talk, I don't know, I think everybody knows by now Sandbox, Decentraland, and Axie, but Axie is still like the builder program is maybe not so out there as you know, as the most people know. But there is, for example, Drop, NFT Land, you know, what is also an OpenSea, NFT world.
Yeah.
And on all these metaverses and Matrix Land, they all give you actually the option to build on a metaverse. And if you see the land prices, NFT world, I think I bought some in October for 1 ETH, if I'm not mistaken. I think now floor is 12 or 13 or something like that. I even had no time to check. And yeah, so that's just, you know, like there's so many things to plug in, you know, in the metaverse. That's why we said, man, this is awesome opportunities, and it would be a shame if you not grab it. You know, we have a team now. We getting, while we're having anyway the partnerships calls. We can say, hey, here, a game studio. Oh, here, you need help, acceleration. You know, like all this. We like it's not too much, because like for every, like the game studio is a separate entity. You know, there's a CTO. There's a CFO, there's like all the people are there, you know, it's like, so, and then we just bring the jobs in, and that's it. I mean,
but it's still Unix,
yeah, it's still Unix. And at the end, it gives Unix more marketing, more range, more utility for our partnership team. And from the game side, we also developing then on the game. So basically, but because you go to your question, we said we AAA game. Actually, it's one title and it's 2 years time. Yeah, so that's why that was the first game we were planning, and this is Vigilance 2099. I can drop a game trailer. Maybe I can send it to you. You can share it with the community later. Or maybe I can share screen.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. Did you, I sent, Unix actually bought the NFTs for Digits Club. I sent them to Andy. Did you do the verification?
Yeah, I'm in the group.
Oh, feel free to post it yourself if you like.
Okay, then I do that while we're talking. I just downloaded quick from my 1,000 chats.
It's 2099, so I assume it's a little bit in the future. Do we expect any flying cars, anything like that in the game?
Yeah, it's basically there was a major, a huge title, long time waited, Cyberpunk. So it's basically kind of something like that, and it's a bounty hunter game. So it's pretty yeah, interesting. Let me check when I can download it. 1 second, I can.
Sounds a little like Decimated. Have you seen that?
Yes, but I think this game is cooler. Not because we we involved, but let me quick find Digits Club. Which channel I should post?
If you post it in, there's a specific Unix channel as well under the Launchpads, but you can post it in general, and I can tag everybody later on it.
Okay. 1 second.
People getting some juicy information already.
Where's the Unix channel? Sorry that we interrupted call now.
Let me see.
Generate. I have YouTube announcement.
Oh, I think you need to. Have you verified your NFT?
I think so. Yeah. I can maybe also mistake.
Yeah, just push it in Launchpad. I will take care of it after this.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay, 1 second. So, it's too large, the size of the video. Sorry, but then okay, I will send the.
Yeah, you can also share your screen if you like. I enabled it.
Yeah, then we do that. I put the light paper and the.
Oh, so it's actually all pretty ready. I mean, in terms of the information there is.
I mean, we have even a playable demo. I mean, it's really. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the already in the demo. It's Unreal Engine 4. It's even scalable until 4K graphics, and it's a cyberpunk world with different gangs. So we have like syndicates, clans, sorry, and then each clan there's another guilds, and basically it's a larger map, and every time you join, you get a mission. Yeah, you can choose fractions, and basically you have 3 points you need to basically to go through, either collect something, to rescue someone, and basically each fraction need to basically, there's like, let's say 10 versus 10 or 20 versus 20, and you need to basically finish each fraction, have a mission, and you need to accomplish basically the mission, and then that's the rewards. And yeah, it's pretty advanced, I would say, but to develop the whole gameplay, it still takes time. And and here is the thing what I mentioned before, developing in stages. So the demo is just now. Then we will have a demo where you basically can utilize the in-game shops. Yeah, so we lining in the moment. There's a lot of stores. Basically, they will be possible to have real purchases. Like if you think about shopping in the metaverse, for example, and then the game, or let's say think about GTA, and then parts of the city will be unlocked, and then each part will have then a different gameplay, or a extended gameplay, and then so it's still a long way. And then when we saw that it takes so long, so we're building on another, let's say, mini game. It's I don't know if anyone familiar with Fall Guy. Yeah, it's a mobile game. It's like a parkour. 60 people running one parkour. The last one survive, get basically the pot. Yeah, so this is the game, and it's exactly what I mentioned before, and why we envisioned that game. Imagine, let's say you play $5, $10, $100 entry, but here in this game is, let's say, $1. Everybody have $1. Yeah, so let's say 60 people playing, $1 each, and the winner can take 60. And then thinking about, let's say, in a mass adoption, let's say all the scholars who earn maybe $100, $150, they put maybe each day $1 and run the parkour. And they have every day, you know, like, so with micro, with minimum fee, but maximum reward, having a very large audience. And again, like, I think we get like 7 to 8 months, the first 3 levels, and then we every month another 3 level. And then it's like, it will be so building up over 18 months. And then, yeah, and having some NFTs in between, and the levels can be bought basically. So you buy the level, and then on everything what been, let's say, played on the level, the level owner get basically a share. Yeah.
Interesting. When is the, because I assume this would have separate tokenomics, right? The game from Unix.
Yeah, the game, the Bibits game, that's basically the characters who running against each other. It's the Unix token. Yeah. So because we don't have a minting token, it's basically just Unix token for what you need to buy basically to participate in the game. Yeah. And we're looking at more like not, let's say, so 1 Unix token is the entry fee, more like you buy, you can either minimum or you can just stake it. Let's say you can fuel your game power, however you want to call it. And then you just play it. And then let's say you win some, you lose some, and then you have kind of a, let's say I want to play for $30 in a month, but not more. So you put that inside. That's your cash balance there. You can make a little bit like mess with your earnings, you know, and have some fun there, and maybe triple 10 times, 20 times your income on the Bibits game. Right. And it's fun. Fall Guy is still a lot of people playing it. If you want to know what's Fall Guy, what our games looks like, Fall Guy on Steam or on YouTube, something like that. Mario Party, Fall Guy. I think that's the perfect explanation.
Yeah, we played for the meta tournament for Neo Tokyo. We played the Squid Game variation on Steam. That was also basically the same concept. One big group of people, just last man standing in this crazy animated style game. So just from my understanding, just to confirm, this game, which will be basically a mini game series up until the entire world, will take about 2 years to develop, right? And it will not run on its own token. It will run on the Unix token.
Exactly.
Very interesting, because that's the question I get a lot. A question, I made the video on Unix yesterday about the token, the staking. One question I got was the market cap of Unix, right? Yep. So looking at a fully diluted market cap, it is very difficult for me. Well, it's not difficult, it's easy, but difficult for people to understand. If you only see the Launchpad, it's like, oh, fully diluted market cap at this point, the Launchpad is not even ready yet. Where's the valuation come from? But then you got to see the guild and all the game studio and all the other assets and the potential of the utilization of this token that basically make up the entire thing, the whole story.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like, we try to inbuild over time also for the marketplace. So it's something we're building on with, it's an innovation marketplace because we looking at a buy and sell, rent and share marketplace. There's something we want to be very innovative here. I know there's similar concepts, but they not in a big picture. So they're building something like for guilds only. And basically what we want to create is a decentralized NFT pool. Okay, so you can buy assets, so through rewards, the marketplace get filled up, and we can plug in scholars into the marketplace instead of like managing it from our own wallets, you know. So the marketplace holds the NFTs, and we just send the players to the NFT marketplace. So we have even outside of the community people giving access to NFTs. So there's something where also Unix token will play a role at the Unix game, the Launchpad. We're looking maybe on kind of, because we're working on a Web3 app, kind of an onboarding tool. Also, again, like it sounds a lot, but it's at the end, it fits all in the ecosystem. Yeah. So what we want to have, like the streaming again. Yeah. And then basically, and not to give a wrong impression, but in Tinder, but for NFTs, MetaVerse, but it's not for the dating. It's more like matching with people you want to communicate. And you know, what is a challenge for a lot of people in the metaverse when it's about NFTs? Finding mods, finding artists, finding people who know some blockchains or just want to talk. And, you know, so connecting that, but also, again, separating from player, NFT artist, or someone who can, or collectors, plus also use the app as a tool where basically games can plug in, you know, they want to get listed, yeah, but only when, for example, we approve that, or and monetizing that, you know, of course, not with a fiat subscription or something, like with a Unix token subscription to unlock perks in the app, to get maybe more, you know, that you can look also for meta girls, but this is not a priority. It's really more an app, you know, for connecting the people. And also, like, I mean, I think building this now, so this is the approach. We do that with a lot of things. Let's, when it's about onboarding in the metaverse, streaming the app, and then let's wait. Let's say in 1 year, 2 years time, the app have already some people who populating it, and then comes the mass adoption. So then, what is the easiest link? You know, people, especially mass adoption, will come from the traditional market. Yeah, so they've never been in crypto, and then give them a tool what links them and gives you all the information, maybe with the games, with the metaverse, whatever you need, in one app, and the app's already there, you know, and then you just promoting, because the, you know, with the streams and over time. And I think it's just like range, exposure, and then if it's useful, then I think it will find its adoption. Yeah.
Interesting. One last question I have for you, because I don't know how much time we actually have. I know we always talk for hours, but we've already been going an hour and a half. The certificate is one thing that just stuck with me. I think it was our first call. You only mentioned it like for 2 minutes, but there was a IELTS, I think it's that, like English certificate, right? Could you explain people how that works? Because the certification, that is something where I actually see the bridge between enormous value and a quick entry point to get in, like scholars and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. While you, when you make your fundraise, of course, you look for strategic partners or VCs who support you, you know, who bring maybe utility to, let's say, any kind of game studios development or whatever. And one of our partners is Guide Education, and it's basically it's called a Netflix of education. So they have English, math, science, all the programs. They have all the content basically prepared, just not connected with crypto. So they having it on their regular platform. You can plug in. And so we onboarded them, and basically they give us the content, and we give Unix token as a reward token. So it basically becomes a learn and earn platform. And we're working on tokenomics at the moment. I don't have anything here to show yet, but I can maybe in the days can drop there. So let's say you make the English course, it's 5 lessons, and then you have let's say a final seminar. But once you went through the whole course, then you can get the certificate, a real certificate for English. And with this English certificate, and considering that the education, the most people who will use it, especially on the maybe on the standard or the regular education part, is maybe developing countries. So right. If I want to apply for a visa, and you know, then usually they're asking, okay, can you speak the language? And if you have the English certificate, that you have a, you know, whatever degree A language certificate, then you get your visa, for example, even more easier approved. Or, and especially in developing countries, English is a job criteria, you know. So like, it's like fluent English is, for a lot of people, it's like for a lot of jobs, they saying, yeah, okay, that's kind of levels you up on the recruitment side. And also, like, of course, we use the platform as well to to educate about wallet, metaverse, cryptocurrencies, trading, scam, security, and all that stuff. Because again, who is coming is like new people. Yeah, they will basically will build the foundation for all the NFTs. We in our investor level will hold, you know, these people, they are the one who will populate all the NFTs we might earn yield with, and we can even share that with them, and giving them a platform where you can learn and earn, and then either take the reward token to unlock, let's say, paid courses. You know, there is kind of a burn mechanism for that, I mean, or buyback. So let's say you want to have an entrepreneur course or really like content creator, and then comes again sandbox development, you know, like making a course about that, Decentraland, and all these courses, and you know, the what we also did on the community side, we have 213 employees in our community, yeah, and they are employed over a smart contract. It's basically, it's a deal, it's a platform, and they are very new. I think we are the biggest customer, but so basically the scholar or the employee can choose between crypto or fiat straight to the bank account, and they're providing basically contracts for every country in the world. So this is already something we also looking at, you know, like because this is the next question with the mass adoption. Where is all the taxes? Where is all the contracts? How are they assigning what they're doing? You know, I mean, if you go on that level, we don't want to discuss it now, because I'm happy sometimes for the gray area. You know, I don't want too much regulations. You know, I mean, that's why also we choose Switzerland. You know, we are in Zug registered, not in BVI, where it's basically okay. They can BVI or Seychelles or wherever can say tomorrow it's illegal, and then what you're gonna do? Your company is registered, yeah, Axie Infinity, they're for example in BVI. You know, how long? You know, anyway, there will be another hole where you can walk through, but you know, to be also legal, I think in the long run is also a good preparation. And yeah, and for the education platform is also, let's say, what every community wants is mods, you know. So we want to make basically a course how to be a good mod, and what is the entry level. So and how you can earn free NFTs is being a mod, you know, like you can apply, you know, and then again, thinking about the whole ecosystem, you have the Web3 app, and you basically you run to the certificate. You have your English certificate. You had your mod training with Unix Gaming, and then you go on the platform and you say, "Hey, I'm free to go. I'm a mod, please." And then you just tick the box what I'm needing now, what I'm looking for, you know. So again, it's like we thought about that very, very carefully in the beginning, and the app is also nothing what is very far. Yeah, I mean, if you have another minute, I still have 2 hours until Paul Barron network, so I can talk.
I have time. I freed up my afternoon for you. So I freed up my entire morning for Unix, and I freed up my entire afternoon.
I liked it.
Today has been my Unix day. Almost. If we chat for 20 more minutes, I spent 4 hours with you guys today.
It's good.
Definitely.
1 second. It's the wrong one. I have it. Yeah. I share my screen again.
Yes, please.
It's still not. Can you see that?
Yeah, MetaMeet.
Yeah, it's still MetaMeet. It's gonna be MetaLancer, because this is too much. You know, the heart shape. This is too much Tinder. So I gave them a little bit inspiration, and just that that you see that we are like also doing progress, you know, not only talking, because this is something I hate the most, you know, people like, oh, we envision that and that. No, this one is already very advanced stages. You build your profile, you set your interest, your skills. You put your username in, you connect in the future your wallet. This is your profile, simple bio, gallery. You can add your NFTs here. You have your social feeds here, profile picture. Then you have group chat like in Telegram. And yeah, it's kind of a Clubhouse feature. Yeah, so you can add some group chats here. Yeah, and then later,
I see the text right there. That's funny. You
yeah,
got a
here this one,
funny
yeah.
designer, yeah.
She's hilarious. Well, she's very good, I tell you. And yeah, and then you have basically, yeah, the job function is gonna be a little bit more advanced. But the as a placeholder at the moment, and then we're working from page to page, and trying to get a demo out and testing it with people who not really involved. You know, like for example with you, that you give us your very hard feedback. You know, and yeah, and then you have of course, and the matching function is just like, yeah, if you know, I think the even that is not what we want to have, but I think the matching function is what will be make it successful as well, you know,
Yeah,
because
because it
like
looks a lot like Tinder like this,
at the
right?
moment,
Because I feel like it should be like the idea is to make it like an Upwork kind of environment, but then in an app for like the metaverse, right? That kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's really about chatting, and at the, you know, how is, so how you make jobs now as a mod or things like you connect it, you know, crypto
Yeah.
is with connection, and if you make it too much Upwork, or I buy this, I buy that, we don't want that. We want really that connection part. So you match with someone who is NFT artist who wanted this because you checked who you want to look at, you know, and then you match with him, and then you connect and you chat, hey, what's your background, blah, 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 and then you have the conversation. So this is more what we want. We want people interact, but again, like learn and earn the app, players, games. So there's so many things we want to connect with. Again, it's a lot, I know, and usually when you have an extensive roadmap, there's people asking, okay, who is building that? But again, it's the app is one department. Yeah, there's a app development is outsourced. I mean, it's someone we know. The game studio is running itself. The guild is running itself. The Launchpad will be taken care, and there will be a lot of different departments basically. And then at the end, my job, or and let's say from the C level, is like to make everything run. And
Right.
yeah, and just to on the note on the learn and earn. So what we're looking at is also that we basically have it as a plug-in play version. So we want to have a running system with all the content inside, and we can give it to any community, and they can basically either plug in their own token, yeah, or whatever is the reward tool, or make it free. But we take, of course, by providing all and be feeding still with content, right? So it's never being, you know, like once finished, but and then taking then a percentage or whatever on the whole plug and learn platform basically. Yeah, what we just can give to other guilds, to other, you know, and look at one project. It's called Jumbo. They recently raised a lot of money, top VCs on it, and it's basically an Web3 app for Africa. And then this is like, for a lot of people, is Africa is a big market, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like so, and then come now with learn and earn to Africa, and you know, connecting people now with Web3, and for them, and like Nigeria, I think Bitcoin is more adopted than anything else. You know, it's like this is more, have more value than any, and they're making the transaction. They're so, and this is just like happened. You know, it's nothing what like when other countries they choose to choose Bitcoin, but in Nigeria it was just like, and I think there's a huge market, and plugging them in, giving them the utilities. They have all phones, the smartphones with good computing power. They're becoming cheaper and cheaper. So yeah, it's definitely for an interesting market.
So the whole learn and earn, play and earn, that's definitely focused on more the tier 3 demographics, right? When we look at purchase power and economic standards, how do you envision over the next couple of years that tier 1 countries would be pulled into this, not solely as investors as it might be right now?
That's what I mentioned already, like with sandbox development course, with entrepreneur skills, with what is possible in the metaverse, you know, like going to the market, crypto, making your own currency, because people will think more and more, I want to create my NFT. What I need to know about minting, can I blockchain development, you know, and expanding in heavy knowledge you know, like what is like not simple stuff anymore, and upgrading the core. So it can be utilized from everybody, you know. And then just like, for example, maybe you need to purchase Unix token to get into the course, or, you know, the monetization. We need to think about how that goes in general, but still the Unix token is a reward tool. And definitely some course is, again, like it's more, we won't get through that learn to earn more the mass adoption, and really like bridging, yeah, giving equal education. And this is, again, like, it sounds big. Yeah, it's just like we building it with again with another team. And yeah, and then while we're building up the connections over the next year, and then let's say all the products are developed, let's say they learn and earn and so on, and then going out there, and, you know, it's a matter of how heavy you want to try it. And we have a strong partnership team, and if you get the right people, and for example, permissionless, yeah, it's the best place. For example, in Blockworks, yeah, they're hosting their permissionless conference in Miami. We are a platinum sponsor, so we have our booth there, and we definitely there's the big players, yeah, together with Coinbase. It's featured by Coinbase, by Bankless. There's all the big
Is
players.
that the conference where you will speak?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're using the conferences for all these tools as our playground. You know, we will send our partnership team. You know, whenever, like, learn and earn will be a very different level. I think this is something, if we make it right with quality, and it can be huge. Yeah.
Interesting. For the whole vision that we at least heard today, not only the Unix team, but basically all the partners and moving parts involved. How many people would you reckon is like the whole system right now?
What I mentioned already on the community side, so managing 5,000 scholars, payouts, trainings, and all the needs is, with us, is 213 people at the moment. And let's say from the community side is, or from our side, we are looking at, we hire 2 more people. We are around 22, but yeah, okay, wait, then yeah, okay, we have then the game studio. This is 30 people. We have yeah, now with DaoMaker, and I mean, they're separate, but we have 2 people. They're basically joining the team on the Launchpad. So yeah, it's every day we having interviews, and, you know, it's pretty intense, but you need that, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine that the whole thing, but especially, of course, to carry out that vision, right, that ambition, at the end of the day, people need to put in the work to get it done, right? And as you mentioned before, we do hear a lot of the, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it's like, oh, how big is a team? Yeah, it's 3 people. Well, obviously, there's something between ambition and dreams, right? Two different things at the end of the day. But I saw you in entrepreneur.com. I think it was 2 days ago. Yesterday was a nice little write up as well. So the traction is definitely coming to Unix. It feels like momentum.
Yeah, I mean, it's the interesting part is that, like, we think, and I will be working at the moment on a guild comparison article. Also, we're gonna basically make a little bit, let's say, hard marketing for other guilds, but it's the next step. Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, if you, so basically it's very simple comparison. The guilds underneath each other, the top 7, the one who have a token, and then you can basically see with our utilities like 11 different points why, and then the maximum what other guilds achieve is 2. DAO plus Launchpad, DAO plus NFT line, DAO and payout system, and that's it. You know, there's no more. And then what is then the goal? Like, are you so confident about play to earn that it's gonna be, that's it? We're gonna be the biggest in play to earn. You know, it's because a guild only, think about that, can expand actually with enough funds. You know, so your funds are used. Yes, you have your revenue, but where is your token investments? You know, like where you add the value. And there was the interesting part for us was this is we are in a space, we are pioneer, you know, like this play to earn is so new. NFTs are still new, but they have already a huge adoption. And we can be Coca-Cola in that space, you know, we can be, you know, like if you just put the work in now for 1 or 2 years, then because there will be so many projects. If you think about DeFi, the first DeFi protocols, I don't remember their names, you know what I mean? And only some survived, or there's new ones who've been innovative, you know? So the same, you will see the same thing with play to earn, and maybe startless in 2 years. Nobody know what was startless, you know? And that's the same thing. So if you build and like as a guild, we are like on YouTube stream, these things they will remain even without crypto, you know? So once we build a lot of onboarding tools and then the crypto side and NFTs, and, you know, then you cannot disappear, you know, because the token have no more value, you know?
Do you think that these other guilds, you mentioned Merit Circle, there's Yield Games, the Good Games Guild, do you think they have the same ambition though as Unix Guild? Is it like comparable? Because you guys are building an ecosystem. When we look at Good Games Guild, for example, they now basically did the MetaVerse pad, right? The Launchpad, basically under a different brand. But it doesn't seem like, I look at the relative cash amount that they're holding, or at least valuation, right? And what they have presented in the market from just like, I don't have connections with VCs. I don't get like alpha information that often on that level. So I just see what I see from what the information that is provided. It feels like their ambition is really somewhere else, or like on a slower pace, definitely.
I mean, I know some of them, of course, on some calls we've been with some of the, or with most of the guilds. Personally, I think, I mean, I'm a gamer. I'm doing it for passion, and I want to freaking, like, I love the fact that now you can like really my childhood dream comes true, you know. And this is what I like. I since June, or since we started, since June, I think I've been 2 days kind of off, but you're never off, you know. And I'm working really in this chair. I'm sitting from 7 o'clock in the morning until midnight. This is like, okay, sometimes you go out there like that, but I don't know. I like what I'm doing. This is from my side. I think because if the people too much coming from the crypto side and seeing is more as an investment project, or I make more money project, then I think you have not enough power to do that, you know. And you know Andy, you know Simon, you know Nick, you didn't met so many times, but man, it's like these people, they're like, I get crazy with them. They have so much energy, you know. It's like myself, you know. It's like, and it's good, we're pushing each other also, but and if you follow the guilds, if you follow Yield Guild, what they're doing, they're doing token investments. They're a fund. If you check Merit Cycle, they announced, I think yesterday, that they are not investing in scholars anymore and building on you know, building that out. They basically do now what we do. They're looking on gaming studios. They're looking on investments. They're looking on 2 more points, but it's basically they are already a fund before. Yeah.
So that's basically solely focused on money and the different business models, right?
Yeah, they're investing. And then a Good Games Guild, they have a fund, I think. They are partnered with a fund. So it's more like the modern fund to raise money. That's why, for example, there's a 1 more guild or 2 more guilds coming out. It's Asians 8 and Salad Ventures. And they're backed by the Pantera. I don't know what these people want in a guild. Still, they have already GuildFi, and it's for the fund is even more lucrative to get like all of them. They have the same concept. You get in seed on 3 or 4 cents. Yeah, then you launch on Copper Launch $1. Like GuildFi, they went up to $4. You're already how much in profit? Yeah, there's a huge upside. But, and this is what I have a personal agenda. I want to build out what is a real guild. And that's why we have Unix Gaming focusing on the gaming side. And that's why we have the Unix Fund where we do the investment side. And this is something, and this is why I said we're going on the heavier marketing, because I want people to understand that this is not, they are not supporting the game. So why the guilds getting the allocations? Merit Cycle get Mojo, Planet Mojo, for example. I wouldn't say it's a AAA title. A lot of people say AAA. It's never AAA anyway. They're getting 1 million because the game
Passionate
thinks,
gamer.
yeah, but the game thinks they're populating my game. But it's not true. Because they have 110 million raised doesn't mean that they are having a good community. You know, it's like they have an investor community, but no player community. And this is very simple. And I see that every day when we go in a partnership, Merit Cycle, and they have the better network, they have the better connections. That's why they get the let's say, the bigger chunk, or, you know, because people, tier 1 backed. Yeah, but the passion, the community, the focus, the endurance, you know, like to go the extra mile all the time. This is, I don't see that.
Well, I think those facts will come to light over time, right? I think it's more of a long-term thing. It's inevitable that that will show that it's more of a money-generating machine than an actual guild over time, because they would lose their scholars, and then can you really call yourself a guild at the end of the day? Or if the guild doesn't expand, of course, because I assume these businesses should expand relative to the level that capital is generated, right? Because if you make, let's say, 10 million a month, but your business in terms of size only grows 0.1% a month, then something is quite wrong, right? Either with the money balance.
And there's the point. So now I'm a Merit Cycle, and I'm not can deliver with community, but I'm what is my benefit? Money. You know, money is not. I tell you, every project in the gaming space don't need Merit Cycles money. For example, sorry, we are talking so hard about Merit Cycle. I hope they watch it. No, just kidding. No, but the point is, to raise money is not the problem. You know, to add value, that's what the projects need. And imagine now going back to Unix Gaming. Now, after the Launchpad, let's say we have a successful launch. We have the first projects coming in. The acceleration is working. We have really, really a strong value add on all edges: listing, network, KOLs, marketing, YouTube, streaming, whatever. Every game want you on the deck. You know what they want already now, because they still have a false belief. But you can just and this is what we want. We want just to be like the one. Like the first thought you have. Okay, guild are Unix, and we have the possibility. It's not so. It's not impossible, because nobody doing anything in the game on the guild side. You know, we're the only one at the moment. I'm not saying there's still good projects, and you know, with time, of course, there's coming guilds or communities with maybe with more extensive roadmaps, with innovations, of course, yeah, and maybe they're more innovative than us. But again, like we having not only one one USP, we have a game, this, that, and then we still over having enough utility for a game, for a community, for an investment, that the people will always choose us. And building this out now over the next year, I mean, until let's say December, it takes time. I know it's a long-term play, but I think then we will see where's the market leader on the guilds, you know, like maybe not market cap, maybe not totally diluted or whatever, but from utility. And you know what will be at the end benefit then the community, the investors, the participants in that ecosystem in an open environment. You know, because like, I want to be in contact with the legendary holder. I want to be in contact over YouTube. You know, so same as you build a much stronger connection, and then having, of course, time is also limited. You know, once you have a lot of responsibility, but building it out and. But best example, Neo Tokyo, you know. So Alex Becker cannot run the whole community alone. The community becomes so strong, and I know you're a big fan of that. We talked about it, and people want to participate. They want to, you know, like share the value. They want to share, you know, they want to participate in that. And we have an NFT line also lining up. Sorry, this I didn't talk about this, and this is something also we. It's the MetaVerse employees, yeah, the E-Man line. But again, it's don't want to spoil it too much. I'm still waiting on more infos. But getting really people to ownership a piece of the company. This is our ultimate goal. And I follow a lot of things what Gary Vee say, and Gary Vee Friends collection. Legally, we cannot yet give somebody through an NFT a shareholding because it will be under security. Yeah, but you can put it on the roadmap, and when the time is right, we can do it. You know, so in NFT collection, what benefits you in the long run on the project. So the NFT, the money from the NFT collection will goes in a fund. Yeah, the LFT will increase over time. Yeah, because the fund value increase over time. Buying also yield generating assets plus royalty fees. And these royalty fees going, be looking at, let's say on a daily vesting schedule, you know, after, let's say a 1 year period of time once the fund is taking profits and then distributing it to the NFT holder. You can have 1 or 10, or it depends how many you want to invest in. And like with the vesting schedule back to the token holder from the whole ecosystem, basically from what you invest. So the entry price is higher, but then taking that funds, put it in a fund, it's still in Unix investment, and the scholars is utilizing NFTs, or the fund, what we anyway invest in Unix is there, and just giving some more ownership on the whole project to people. You know, that's true. Be part of something, you know. And this is definitely, end game, you know, but yeah.
I think that's great. I think that's like the true Web3 that we all envision. I'm just scared of the regulations, because the regulations will come, right? And they might destroy those dreams.
I mean, we checked it. We were legally signed off with our NFT project, because what we're going to do is basically, we collected funds from 10,000 people. What was the mint price? We investing in our Unix Gaming, investing in the games, right? Or in the projects. So you don't need KYC, you have the NFT. And if you now return like profits to an NFT, then it can be against security, but we return with the Unix token. You know, so we buying off with Unix token, and then you get basically Unix token to the NFT holder. And if you, everything from the legal side, if you call it a reward, then it's not security anymore. Yeah, everything was a reward for participation in the community. That's why you get your Unix token. Then you're already out of, and in Switzerland, yeah. So in Switzerland, we signed off with that. Right. So, and yeah.
Interesting. So Switzerland is a very good choice after all.
Yeah,
it's probably the best choice right now.
Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum, all in Switzerland.
For a specific reason. Yeah. Very interesting, very insightful. Let me go through some small questions before we round this up. It has been very insightful so far. What would you think, Mirko, of White Sands? I don't know what that is. I'm not familiar with the project or whatever that is. Are you familiar? White Sands?
I need a hint. Maybe I saw it. Maybe I know so many projects. If it's white sand here, you know, some beaches have white sand. I don't know. Sorry.
Yes, I asked to unmute. If you can unmute yourself, you can explain. That would be great. Otherwise, we're gonna hop on to the next one, because I also don't know what white sands mean. I assume it's some kind of game you read about or something, but I'm willing to give you the opportunity to come here and talk about it. But if not, then let's move to the next one. When we talk about White Sands owning luxury villas in the metaverse, it's probably like a crypto land, then I assume something like this, built on NFT worlds.
I am not familiar with the project, but I'm very interested also with Unix in real estate land. So I'm pretty sure to own, especially on the, as you see with Bored Apes, it's like something you want to have, you know. And there will be more trends. People want to own digital villas. People want to show off their villa. You know, it's become like something what you can show them with your phone. It's become so, and you will post about it. You will hang out in your villa. So it's become something. It's maybe too early, but Sandbox had even a huge deal with they building some crazy complex in Dubai. I mean, like in Sandbox and so on. They have kind of this. Maybe this is the White Sand. So they're building some retail relation. And this is something what is interesting on the real estate side and what's coming more and more adoption on the NFT side. Let's say Samsung was building a store in Decentraland, Bored Apes connected with Adidas. There is more and more the adoption, and so retail brands, or let's say traditional brands, they onboarding more and more into the metaverse. Shopify, if someone is familiar with drop shipping and so on, they having their NFT beta. So they have already now there's a demo you can look at, and it's we registered for it, but no reply. Anyway, yeah, but it's coming. It's definitely, it's like, especially NFTs. I think they have. I think it's going to be maybe even stronger than cryptocurrencies, like especially from the asset value. Yeah.
I saw something insane the other day. I don't know who told me. I actually forgot, but when I actually saw it, I was like impressed. It's a launchpad. I forgot the name. It's like a smaller launchpad who's actually doing seed rounds, private rounds, all that stuff. And then they have a marketplace on which you can sell NFTs, but it's tied to the allocation. So if you no longer want your allocation, you can sell the NFT, and the NFT holds the remainder of the vesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, very interesting. I think all the NFT, there is so many things. It's like I feel like you have so more options with NFTs than with crypto, and it's easier to handle actually, because crypto continuously, it's like now our token, it's like, you need to, like, the market is down, and NFTs, yes, they are like also losing value, but at the end there's like, you can use it in many more ways. Yeah, even let's say you created an NFT, have let's say platform utility, and then you make partnerships with traditional clothing brands and so on, and then you're holding this NFT like a Bored Ape, you get discount in H&M, for example, another NFT. So you can have so many, and you cannot have that with cryptocurrency. Like, okay, you can pay with it, but having this kind of discount thing, access, private parties, like a status. This what people now like in the traditional world. I wear Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, whatever, and then now NFTs will be the next status thing.
Or Razer brand, yeah.
Yeah.
When yeah, you like Razer? I see you got all your gear.
Razer is also, yeah.
I only have a mouse pad at home from Razer, a very big one, like a white one, like is the huge one. I got it. That's from like the World of Warcraft days. When we, what you just mentioned about the actual, I forgot my question. Now I made a joke about the Razer. It's basically gone. Let me see if we have, status. You said status. And I always have an argument with GC. He's there right now, Paperhand GC in the comments. Shout out to you, GC. I appreciate all your hard work for our community. He says status is utility, and I'm not a status kind of guy. Although I know I got the sleek hair and everything, I don't have any brand or luxury items. That's one thing I think that's primarily wrong with NFTs at the moment. Because from an investment point of view, if an NFT has no utility, the concept of what it actually is supply and demand, right? And economics at the end of the day is supply and demand. But I feel like people are overexposed to the risk because they have no investment experience, right? For example, somebody buying a Bored Ape, or let's say a mutant ape, which is more accessible, 15 Ethereum, where they only think things can go up, right? Where they are not familiar with the market, investment strategies, that they also feel like it can go down, and there's no additional yield to it. Take, for example, the Neo Tokyo. 1 month ago, 16 Ethereum floor, 60 was the floor price. Right now, the floor price is 17 Ethereum because the price of bytes, which is like the daily coin you yield, went down from $100 to the lowest point was $7, right? So everybody starts dumping because they're fearful. And then I don't want to, I'm not a professional investor. I know very little about the space, but I bought like 4 Neo Tokyo Citizens and I bought 4 S2 Citizens, right? Because I do believe in the project, and I do believe when they're fearful, I'm just buying and I just ride out the next wave. But now I do understand why regulations need to come in place to protect the people who cannot protect themselves. Does that make sense? So when
on the one side, but so if I think, yes, you see this very from the investor side, but These people are not they're not thinking about like, oh, you know, they want to have it. That's it. It's nothing about investment. You know, it's like just spending money.
Just too money
it's like,
hungry.
man, why you need to, for example, you let's say you have a lot of money, okay? You have a G-Wagon, okay? And then you buy the next version. Why? Well, you have a Samsung S21. Yeah, you buy the S22 with golden cover. You know, it's not about okay, the Samsung have technology and so on, but the people or the new iPhone, Apple is actually the good example because everybody wants Apple. Like I need the next Apple phone. But why? What is better? It's about because you take it out of the pocket. People can see you have the new Apple, and then you feel better. That's it. And there's no financial thinking. People taking debts to buy Rolexes, to buy cars, to buy, you know, so nobody teach them. Yeah, and then we squeeze them also. You know, you buy a car, you give them 0 interest for 1 year. It sounds like a good deal, and then you pay double. Yeah, and then people get the hook. It's also, and then you're having a trap. It's same. There's projects attracting on that side. There's good project. There is fake Gucci. Yeah, check the label. You know, there's like I would say really the people and. Not everybody have an investor mind. And when the mass adoption is coming and of NFT and crypto and more NFT, there is no brain. I tell you, there's people buying anything and then they lose or not. It's gonna be like it's gonna be a mess. I tell you, if you think financially and to minimize risks. You know?
Yeah. No, to be fair, I 100% agree. I think that the actual investor minds will start the revolution from where now people look up and see millionaires, they will see billionaires, right? Because that basically that run of, I call it stupidity, but I'm joking, right? I don't blame these people because you don't know what you don't know, right? At the end of the day. But the people who do know and do, that's why I stress knowledge, research so much in general. If you commit the research, commit the knowledge, the next 5 years could, not guaranteed, but could be amazing, specifically for the builders. Right, it's one thing I truly believe.
I mean, it's going to be the next wave of Dodge holders. Yeah, I mean, no offense, a lot of people getting rich, but
when somebody says no offense, something offensive is coming.
Yeah, but which are the people who made Dodge popular? Being TikToker, you know, people on TikTok and you know, they're like, oh yeah, and there's for them also no idea about crypto. Hey, Dodge, yeah, everybody have Dodge, you know. It's just like what is viral. It doesn't matter. People don't think on a certain state. You know, at the moment, if you think the space is so little still, you know, and we are still very, very little. And once really crypto is like massive in NFTs, man, we are the smart, because everybody who is smart on investment with the mass adoption, there's going to be a huge blow up. And everybody who understands a little bit the business, will definitely go home with big bags, you know, if you sell, you know, and and then all the newcomers, they will first time look around, you know, but yeah, this is, I wouldn't say, I don't know, man, this is like very much speculation, but yeah, I think there's no, again, like status, that's what the people want. It's gonna be. I'm also not a status person, you know, zero. I like here in Bali, I have my scooter, slippers, you know, and then here so many billionaires in their houses. I know one here. Hey, if you meet him on the street, you don't know if he's a billionaire. But if you check his freaking NFT wallet, then you know, okay, this guy invested in a lot, and also he don't care. It's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, okay, he have a lot of money, but.
I do feel like that's like the interesting part, because I do like to think, for myself at least, the money we earn as investors, it's taken from somebody else, right? So either it's not generated out of nothing alone, right? There's like obviously the hype value, but at some point somebody has to lose for you to win. But most of these investors at this stage, myself included, we should just see this as a game, right? And the investors that are investing for like their living, that's like a whole different league of its own, because that is actually where you carry so much more risk. And that's where I think the JPEGs, the NFTs, the whole status thing, as you phrase it, comes into play. I just this morning when I bought like a 12 Ethereum NFT, I made like a little list of all the NFTs I've purchased this year, and I'm like, I didn't expect to spend this much money on NFTs or even make profit that money, and I'm like, what am I even doing? Like, I'm supposed to buy a new house, right? On like a fancy house, or maybe build it from scratch. But instead, I'm so busy building these companies and flipping NFTs in my free time that I'm not really focused on actually the real life anymore, right? We're just living for this hype, and you just get like drawn into it. And I do agree when you mention, like, if you surround yourself with the passionate people, it's just the whole group, it just goes up, right? Everybody just goes up. You share the information, you learn. GC, are you with the mic right now, perhaps? Let me see if he's able or willing to speak, because he's typing a lot of messages. And I'm very curious to see, because obviously the status thing is quite interesting. He says, plus crypto is a bit different. Unlike stocks, don't have a financial balance sheet to use as reference. My mic is broken right now. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think the historic pattern, but one thing that I am interested in is, I don't know, I think we spoke about it last time when we had a call, was like the NFT platform where you basically bring your NFTs that you're not using, they're used as collateral to lend it out for anything, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so that's what we actually want to build, the marketplace, or what we is already under development. And the best part on is it, if you check on Twitter, 0x Allen, he's a very NFT heavy.
0x Allen?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is basically leading the development. And he is the chief strategy officer of Gary V NFTs. So this is like a big thing for us. And
Nice.
the marketplace is buy and sell, rent. So rent on the blue chip side. You know, let's say you have a CryptoPunk, Cyberkong, or whatever, like the heavy or other NFTs. Like, for example, Gary Vee have a fish restaurant NFT, you know, like you can only with that NFT, you can go inside. So renting this out, and we do the leasing part. So basically the marketplace allows that you put your NFT on a marketplace, and then we connect the let's say the scholar in, and with a smart contract and with APIs. So through APIs and a smart contract, you connect the wallet of the player. Yeah. And then they're going to be in the smart contract is going to be create basically a wrapped NFT, and so you still hold your NFT, but the let's say the scholar is becoming, or the player become the NFT, or get the NFT, the wrapped version. And of course we need to have the partnerships with the games, but imagine, yeah, Unix ecosystem and importance, they need to accept our NFT. So, and then basically the returns of and you only get paid, so that the scholar don't need to pay anything. He basically can take your NFT for free, and you set a percentage on the leasing part, you know, like on while you list it, you say, okay, 50% for you, and then we will give suggestions, what is the current market standard, you know, something like that. So it's that we guide them, or there is a barrier that we say you cannot like outsource them, you know what I mean, too heavy. Something like that, we don't know. But the leasing part is basically what we're looking at, the decentralized guild. And yeah, we carefully call it the guild killer. Yeah, because if you have an NFT marketplace, I mean the guild killer of the token guilds, you know, where everybody races now. But what we're creating is communities, small ones, let's say a group of people, friends, let's say in Philippines, in Germany, everywhere. And they said like, hey, you know what? We don't need anybody who give us a NFT, you know, they don't need Unix actually. Yeah. But of course we are having so much value also in our community. We still get players, but the thing is like little groups can go to the marketplace and can say, let's go, we are a clan. I need what we need for BigTime. We rent one land, we rent 10 characters, and then let's go. And
Right.
in addition, the games who don't sell out their NFTs, they can put them on our marketplace. And you will see popularity on the NFTs when they put them on the marketplace if there's a high demand. In addition, let's say now, let's say games do marketing because they ask us, okay, can you make an early access? We give you an NFTs to play. So what can the game do now itself? Can say, okay, I want to have 1,000 players playing my game. So I give 1,000 NFTs on the marketplace with 100% return to the player for 1 month. That's the early access. And then you get streamers, you know, so they can do their own marketing. They don't need the guild anymore, you know, except of course, we are the provider of the marketplace. Of course, Unix have a huge benefit. And so thinking about what we said in the very beginning, blue chip NFTs, because collectors usually collect, they don't play. Yeah. And then having therefore 2 options, either rent or getting a player in. And we want to change basically as they want to change, or we want to change the play and earn. We want to step away from that scholarship. This sounds, I don't like it, because it's like, actually when a scholarship ends, you know, so it's a forever scholar, you know, you don't have an upgrade. So we want to, like, for example, in Subway, you know, how the employees in Subway, what's there on their name badge? It's sandwich artist, you know, to sound it smooth, you know.
Right.
So, and let's say now NFT specialist, or let's any kind of fancy name, like a trending name, because I envision that to having an NFT is status, right? It's become very normal. On your phone, you show it or whatever. But having a scholar or NFT artist is also part of the evolution. So, and then now thinking about like, and from the mindset of people, okay? So you're not, let's say in real life, you okay, have a job, you own maybe 2 or 3 NFTs. And now there's an NFT artist, and basically you have out of nowhere now 3 employees. You know, how you feel then, and how you go out there and tell then your friends and the people that say, hey, I have 3 employees, you know, they're utilizing my NFTs. You know, think about that, how that in a mass adoption will boom. You know, if you build the link and people having now something on their own, a small business, you know, the people will tell, I have this business, and they will dream, they will think more NFTs, more people, blah, blah, blah. So, and I think this marketplace, and I don't talk about this, actually, this goes live, right? So actually it's like, we want to keep this super confidential. Yeah, but, and again, we have the best connection with 0x Ellen. Yeah, he's Chief Strategy Officer. He's also CEO of another data company we're investing in. And yeah, and we basically have the link to Gary Vee, and this, I think, would be a perfect start for this little project. Yeah.
Very exciting, very big. Some good alpha as well. Oh, some people signing off. They're saying thank you, Mirko. Thank you.
Yeah,
well,
welcome.
We've been going for 2.5 hours, so it has been great. We'll be doing this every week going forward. Next week, I would love to have a look at the actual game, so discuss block lords more in depth, perhaps have a look at the assets they have available. I spoke with Simon. Maybe we can get the guys from block lords to join us for like half an hour, get like a roundtable discussion going. That would be amazing.
I can also, just on that note, because we are the official gaming partner from Paul Barron Network, so we have basically once a week a segment, and once a month a roundtable, a gaming roundtable, and also you play World of Warcraft. So I can invite you there. So it's basically me, 2 gaming partner, and Paul Barron. It's like a new concept they starting, and we can bring you there. So we also have a little bit other audience. And
yeah, I spoke with Andy about it this morning. It sounded really interesting. Really making big moves. Yeah, not sitting still.
And it's I don't know. I feel young. I feel like, you know, really, I'm 36 now. I feel like 20 years ago. Yeah, like if someone would told me you can make like with gaming money, man, it's like that. It's my dream, and now I've shared it. And it's really not about the money. It's more like having something you really can do something, you really can change something, you really can build something, and that's awesome. And meeting awesome people, connecting with new communities, new fields, new eras, learning something new. This is awesome. It's just a nice journey at the moment in the NFT space.
Well, you really breathe that passion. That's why I wanted to get you here specifically to talk about Unix and the vision, because I
Thank
was
you.
super impressed. And I talk with a lot of people and their visions. You know, everybody has the dreams and it's amazing. But that's why, like, you know, if I tell it for Unix, it's so different than if you tell it, because I think everybody here, well, the comments in the chat, they all say it. It's been great. So thank you very much for being
Yeah,
here. I look
welcome.
forward to next week going over everything. And then I'll make sure to deliver some documentation inside the Digits Club, where we can go over the things you spoke about. So I'll have somebody render this AMA and then put the notes
Yeah.
on the
And yeah,
discussion,
just
everything.
one thing, I think you brought up the question today, and there came also a thing from your community. We are working on restructuring the Discord at the moment, you know, because we have existing community, and this is a little bit challenging to separate that whole space that you don't mix with scholars. No offense, but they are like on a different level. They are players. They just want to, you know, like get noted, so we're working on that, and also the legendary chat and like all the Unix labs and so on. So it's coming, and we still have a little bit time until we have really a game launched, and we will do it. I think 2 weeks, 2 weeks before the game launch. So end of March, definitely they're going to be a launch. So yeah, 2 weeks before that, it's definitely ready.
Perfect. Good things take time. Unfortunately, we're all patient. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. No, it's like, I think it's a problem if you don't know what's happening, you know, then you think about, you know, I come from a hospitality background. So let's say your food taking a long time. Yeah. And you're sitting in a restaurant and nobody tell you anything. You will ask her what happened, you know, you become like, but if someone tell you just, you know, a moment, we have this and this issue in the kitchen. Okay. Already happened, you
Yeah.
know, then
Yeah.
at least someone talk to you. And it's so important, you know, and that's why thank you for, and that's why I need your feedback. I need everybody's feedback. I always say that, tell us everything like negative. I can work with negative or constructive feedback the best, because then we can change something. If we don't know, we cannot change it. Yeah. So please be very criticism, and everything is very welcome on our side.
But don't blow up the comments. Keep it nice. Feedback welcome. No savages. All right,
Yeah.
Mirko. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Love talking to you.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Thanks everyone for listening so long. It's really a pleasure. I mean, because 2.5 hours can be a very long time, and I believe we had some good conversations here. So yeah, awesome to meet you all, hopefully in the legendary chat, and get to know each other more. I hope also the mic is working soon. And yeah, Colin, anyway, we talk like almost every day. Yeah, nice to see you, and it was a great evening. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mirko. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.